I'm Dan Dews.
And I'm Meredith Kelly,
the hosts of Little Listeners Lounge.
Be prepared to listen and learn about the magic of kids' podcasts.
We talk to hosts, creators, producers, and writers and peek behind the scenes of their work.
We've had some amazing guests. The Deputy Director of NASA.
Everybody pretending to run away from a T-Rex.
Is this what jellyfish are made out of?
I see Lincoln's underpants.
Join us to learn something new about some of your favorite podcasts.
Subscribe to Little Listeners Lounge wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, kids! Coming up in this episode of By Kids for Kids Storytime, Sparky Flarkbottom adopts a doglin.
Sparky instantly fell in love with the adorable mutt and decided to adopt him.
I think I'll call you Grizzle Whisker.
However, the scruffy creature brings a flea into Sparky's house, and things get out of control.
She aimed it at the flea and turned it on.
You can run, little flea,
she shouted,
but you can't hide.
However, the powerful suction ended up pulling in some old rags.
But first, we have two very important birthdays to celebrate. For the first one, her favorite color is blue. She loves football and ballet, and she's turned 9. It's Zendaya! And his favorite color is red. He loves video games and tennis, and he's turning 7. Happy birthday, Kaya! Happy birthday, guys. We wish you the best birthday ever. And we hope you enjoyed your personalized BKFK birthday stories. All right, let's hear who the superstars are in this episode.
Hi, my name's Aurelia. I'm from Italy and I live in Dubai. I'm 14 years old and I hope you enjoyed this reading.
Hi, my name's Giacomo and I'm 12 years old. I'm from Italy and England and I really like cooking.
Well done, kids. Okay, Ruby, let's get on with the story.
The Flea Fiasco. One sunny day, while exploring the village, Sparky Flarkbottom, the little gnome inventor, found a curious creature. A doglin. A doglin is a mix between a goblin and a dog, with a scruffy coat of patchy green and brown, flappy ears, and a mischievous grin revealing tiny, sharp teeth. Its eyes were big and round, full of friendliness. It had a little black spot around one eye that made him look like a goblin pirate, and its green fur was a bushy mess. Its nose was purple and always sniffing around curiously, and his paws were far too big for its body.
Well, who are you, little doglin?
Asked Sparky. The doglin looked up and panted happily. Sparky instantly fell in love with the adorable mutt and decided to adopt him.
I think I'll call you Grizzle Whisker.
And she led the little doglin home for a bowl of milk and some leftovers from dinner. Grizzle Whisker followed Sparky everywhere, and the two quickly became best friends. One cozy evening, Sparky sat by the fire, reading a book with Grizzle Whisker nestled beside her. She scratched him behind his ears, making him wag his crooked tail happily. Suddenly, something small jumped out of Grizzle Whisker's fur. Sparky felt a tickle on her nose. She crossed her eyes to see a tiny flea sitting right on the tip.
Yikes! A flea!
Sparky shrieked, trying to swat it away. But the flea jumped off too quickly, disappearing into the air. Determined to catch the pesky flea, Sparky rolled up a piece of paper and ran after it.
Come back here, you little pest!
She yelled, swinging the paper wildly. In her frantic attempt, she accidentally knocked over her favorite lamp off the desk. She paused and looked around. She saw it. It was standing perfectly still on the floor. She crept closer and raised the rolled-up paper and... bang! She swatted it. She lifted up the paper to inspect her work. The flea was motionless.
Well, that takes care of...
But before she could finish, the flea bounced away.
You're tougher than you look.
Sparky muttered. She rummaged through her toolbox and grabbed a small hammer.
This should do the trick.
She said confidently. She chased after the flea with the hammer, swinging it wildly as she ran. She banged a hole in her kitchen table and then another in her wall. She rampaged through the house, destroying everything in her path except the flea. Frustrated but determined, Sparky decided to use her latest invention, the dust dynamo. It was a clever gadget made from shiny metal pipes with glowing symbols etched into its canister and a series of whirling gears. She aimed it at the flea and turned it on.
You can run, little flea,
She shouted,
but you can't hide.
However, the powerful suction ended up pulling in some old rags, the carpet, the curtains, and even poor old Grizzle Whisker, who yelped and howled in panic. Sparky turned off the dust dynamo, and Grizzle Whisker scampered away. The flea, however, hopped away. Sparky's eyes blazed with determination.
All right, you asked for it.
She declared. She ran to her workshop and reached for her tools. She hurriedly banged and sawed and tinkered until she had created an odd-looking machine. It had a small iron ball attached to a long arm, which Sparky could control with levers and pulleys. She wheeled it into her house and turned it on. The ball began swinging up and down and left and right, smashing everything in its path to smithereens. Everything, that is, except the flea. Finally, in a fit of rage, Sparky decided there was only one way to be rid of the flea for good. She reached for her tinderbox and struck it until sparks began to fly. The wooden floorboards started to smoke. The smoke turned to flames, and the flames became a raging fire. As the fire roared and the smoke billowed, Sparky stood outside, panting and watching the destruction. At that moment, Whistlethorpe the wizard arrived.
Sparky, what in the world is going on?
Whistlethorpe asked. Sparky, panting and covered in soot, pointed at the burning house.
It's a flea, a tiny flea. It was driving me crazy and I had to get rid of it.
Whistlethorpe's eyes widened in disbelief.
You set your house on fire because of a flea?
Sparky suddenly realized what a fool she had been. Her shoulders slumped.
I guess I did.
She admitted, feeling a wave of regret.
I got so caught up trying to catch it that I didn't think about what I was doing.
Whistlethorpe placed a comforting hand on her shoulder.
Sparky, sometimes we let our frustrations get the better of us, but there are always better ways to handle our problems.
Sparky sighed.
You're right, Wiz. What was I thinking? It was as if this red rage just came over me. Oh, if only I could turn back time, I would have never behaved so foolishly.
Whistlethorpe smiled.
Well, I think I can help you with this. I have a scroll of a spell that can turn back time, so you can change what happened. However, I can only do this once, so you must be sure that you want it.
Yes, please, old friend.
said Sparky. Whistlethorpe began to chant a spell.
Tick and tock. Reverse the clock. Past unlock.
The scene around them began to rewind. The fire retreating, the wrecked furniture reassembling, and the mess disappearing. Soon, Sparky found herself back in her chair, scratching Grizzle Whisker behind his ears. She saw the flea again. It bounced onto her nose. She smiled and flicked it away. She chuckled and watched as the flea hopped away and out the window. As for the flea, it hitched a ride on a passing squirrel, leaping off into the nearby forest, happy and free. Sparky looked at Grizzle Whisker and said,
I'll remember to stay calm next time, Grizzle Whisker. Sometimes the best way to deal with a problem is to take a deep breath and think it through.
Quiz time! Question 1. What kind of creature did Sparky Flarkbottom find and adopt? A. A dragon. B. A cat. C. A doglin. Or D. A unicorn. And the answer is C. A doglin. Question 2. What was the first thing Sparky used to try and catch the flea? A. A hammer. B. A rolled-up piece of paper. C. The dust dynamo. Or D. A net. And the answer is B. A rolled-up piece of paper. Question 3. What happened when Sparky used the dust dynamo? A. It caught the flea immediately. B. It sucked in old rags, the carpet, the curtains, and Grizzle Whisker. C. It made the flea grow bigger. Or D. It turned the flea into gold. And the answer is B. It sucked in old rags, the carpet, the curtains, and Grizzle Whisker. Question 4. What did Sparky do out of frustration to get rid of the flea? A. Set her house on fire. B. Called for help. C. Used a giant net. Or D. Trapped the flea in a jar. And the answer is A. She set her house on fire. Question 5. How did Whistlethorpe the wizard help Sparky? A. He caught the flea with magic. B. He gave her a new house. C. He used a spell to turn back time. Or D. He made the flea disappear. And the answer is C. He used a spell to turn back time. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family. It is one of the best ways to support BKFK Storytime.